it's been interesting for me to create that, including, the writing of a family charter, which describes the values of a family, what their intentions are, how they want the money to work, and what its long-term purposes are. Almost the headline underneath the portrait, So it's definitely been fun and interesting to do. Albeit most of my life has been spent showing people how to build wealth, because the building is the most important part. But when you built it, it's then how do you lock it in? How do you make it sustainable and dependable for generations to come? And that's a skill that I don't see that's out there, for the reason that when most people think about it, finance, and if you think about business owners, where do they go and who do they connect with? They'll connect with an accountant, a lawyer, financial advisor, maybe a mortgage broker. They'll connect with people, but each of those individual people have got a silo in which they have a skill set, and they have a protected interest. They want to be paid to do a certain thing, and they're not talking together. There's never a room or a Zoom where 5, 6, 7 people are all talking to help the wealth of a family. Now, in America, they do that. They call it a family office, and usually it's families with hundreds of millions do that. I'm trying to bring the very same concept, but to people with a few million. Certainly between like 2 and 10 million typically would be our clients, and to show them that there is a holistic way to do things, with me and my team acting as the coordinator at the center, pulling all of those other specialists like a GP together, speaking to them to coordinate the result, and giving the client the best possible outcome with no commission shared, no conflict of interest, what we call being a fiduciary, meaning like a GP says, I have a Hippocratic oath to take care of you. Our equivalent of that is everything we do is about saving you money. And there's a minimum of 50 grand, otherwise we're not doing it. So, if we charge a fee to do the work, which typically say 10, it doesn't take much for someone to say, if you give me 10, I'll give you 50. I'll take it. But we've got to make sure they'll do the work, they'll implement the lessons. Otherwise, that's the problem, because, I'm too busy. Well, it's a wrong fit. So that's why we ask people to do small things to show that they will actually go on and do it. So, but, as I said, we share the lessons, and I'm happy to share as many of those as would be reasonable for someone to act on, because these lessons are everywhere, but coordinate them at the right time in the right place. Because I see a lot of people confused. As you get successful, you build complexity around you. And that complexity sometimes almost becomes foggy. You can't see, you think, should I do a trust or not? Should I do a family investment company or not? Should I do a SaaS or not? Should I create a family trust or not? They don't know what to do because they don't know all the pieces and how they interconnect with each other. But, so we've created that system of 7 interconnecting parts that, and we can't find any more, so that when they look at all of those things together, some simple things, easy ones, like we talked about the different specialists there, like lawyers, so tax, legal, financial, there's 3, right? How do you create recurring income? How do you involve the next generation? There's another 2. And then we've got what structures should you have in your family? That's another one. And then finally, should a SaaS or a specialist pension, a family-based trust fund, which is pension-oriented, called a SaaS or a small self-administered scheme, again, something you've heard about and have spoken about before, is a hugely powerful tool, but is so poorly understood that we're possibly the leading expert in the UK on it.
And I love your concept about family charter. I think that's brilliant. I definitely going to adopt that, because I think it's important, right, for all members, team members or family members to adhere to certain rules, certain standards, because I'm becoming true believer. The more clarity you have, the lesser upset, the lesser, frictions you have in the family, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, Julia, because, one of the mentioned as a GP, we call on specialists, and the specialists, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of them. It's not just a few areas, but one of those is a specialist who deals with contentious probate. Right now, what on earth is contentious probate?
Yes.
Contentious probate is when families don't do it well,
Mm.
and there are misunderstandings, there are challenges, there are decisions that have been made that are bad decisions, and as a result, the pioneers have died, and the family can't agree
Mm.
because what was said wasn't what was done.
Mm.
And so, so sometimes we meet people and go, oh, geez, what a mess.
Mm.
We're now seeing, not that we were involved, we were not, but now we're having to unravel that. I don't know how to do that. So, we get specialists to do that. And then because we've learned those lessons, when we're talking to our clients about the legal side of things, secure your own oxygen mask first, get your own legals in place,
Mhm.
which wills powers of attorney. And then we have a section called contention. Is there any possibility that somewhere in this blended family, this wider family, somebody's nose might be out of joint based on what you just said or what you're proposing to say in the will? If so, this is how you deal with it. This is how you document it. This is how you make it clear that contentious probate is not just going to eat hundreds of thousands of legal fees